So, continuing with the ABC people, I've made videos about this before as I watch them on TikTok. Now, over the last 6 months, most of them, all but one in fact, has banned me, barred me, blocked me, I guess is the right term, from their channels. Example, the one remaining one, who I won't name, she's a woman from the prairies. I'll leave it at that. Hint if you care to find her. She leaves me there. Everybody else has removed me because, well, here's one example. Because they're all Trudeau's good, ABC, anything but conservative. Conservatives are the root of all evil, to their way of thinking. Anyways, example. They all quoted, we have the best debt to GDP ratio in the G7. I comment, well, that's a bit misleading because in the G7, Canada's the only one who counts in the pension funds as being a positive in the royal coffers. In Canada's case, 600 billion. Yes, over $500 billion. That kind of biases the bookkeeping, doesn't it? Comment removed. I'm removed. Again, this woman is the only one who leaves me commenting on her channel. But the vitriol has ramped up with these people. I mean, what started out as seeming like expressing their political views has turned into what can only be called naked hatred. I mean, again, they've increasingly blocked me, but there are ways around that. And as long as I don't comment, then they don't know I'm still viewing, right? But again, it has increased to the point where I'm watching it, and I'm watching the comments as well. The comments on anything are, I think, the true temper of the public, be it whichever side of the political spectrum or the issue is. I quite enjoy the comments, always. Now, I find them insightful, would be a better way of expressing it. But again, over the last 6 months, it's rather frightening when you kind of put a bit of a study into it. What feeds? Well, where does it come from, this hatred? What feeds it? Do they feed? Well, they feed on each other in their own little time-space continuum, obviously. So, the incident with Trump in Pennsylvania, is it going to stop there? Is that part of American politics going to come into Canada? I don't know. As I said in the last video, I've never seen anything like this in Canadian politics. Whether it's on the streets, literally, or in social media, the viewpoints and overviews from the independent media, it's really rather frightening when it comes right down to it. And as I've said before, in summation, I'll say it all comes from the psych department in Davos. They've learned how to manipulate us, in part through this medium. The news channels, watching the politics in Europe and the UK, it's obvious that it isn't just in Canada that the media is nothing more than a propaganda department of the government. And just to beleaguer a point, here in Canada, our government is the WEF. Justin Trudeau graduated the Young Global Leaders program. Klaus Schwab said Trudeau, one of his favorites, and he knows more than half of Trudeau's cabinet is penetrated by the WEF. As an aside, the other half's all Trudeau school chums, but wow, that's just thievery and graft. Chrystia Freeland, our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, she sits openly on the board of the trustees at the WEF. That's the head table. Jagmeet Singh, who is the only entity keeping Trudeau in power, that we can't have a non-confidence vote. He's WEF. I believe he graduated 2018. And the Supply and Confidence Agreement negates our parliamentary democracy, not allowing us to call a successful non-confidence vote. Yeah. This is going to escalate. And, well, I've gone on long enough.